Hello everyone, and you're watching Bitcoin Bubble News channel. Do not mess up this call because your children will hate you if you knew about this and didn't buy it. These people are going to hate you so much. People will think you're a hero if you make a huge sacrifice and don't buy that expensive car but instead buy a whole coin which will be worth $10 million. Locked. Hey folks, that was Larry Lepard telling you why you should buy Bitcoin right now. We are going to look at a recent interview, the one he did, and he talks about where he thinks Bitcoin is going, why you should get into Bitcoin now, and why some people think Bitcoin is too expensive and won't buy it because the price is too high now. He also talks about why you should buy at these prices and other things. I think you should watch this video all the way through today. He is a senior partner at Equity Management Associates if you don't already know who he is. He graduated from Harvard Business School and has been writing about Bitcoin for about 2 years now. This video tells some of his story and some tips he gives people who want to trade in Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. As I already said, I really think you should watch this whole thing. This is where you can find the Bitcoin Bubble Patreon if you want to look it over. Out there, we share only our own content along with trade ideas and other information that can help you when dealing in the crypto space. You can look at that if you want to. Let's get to today's video. You might be wondering why I'm so sure about Bitcoin and how I missed it. Well, let me tell you some basic things I know about the venture capital business. What I learned is probably what I tell new people who are going into the venture capital business. Look, the most important thing you should look for in the venture capital business is you. Interestingly, Gene Kleiner was the one who told me this, or rather he told it to people who read about it in his writings. He called it dogs eating the food. You should look for something that people use, and every day more and more people use it. It is important to find clear growth trends. If you see a clear growth trend, you can extend it to say that if something is growing, it will keep growing if everything else stays the same. I'm not going to make the same mistake again. Because of this, when I saw Bitcoin, I knew it was a network of money that was rising steadily and quickly. And that money is important for everyone and is the best kind of money. Like Saylor and Preston said not long ago, there's no denial in it. There are only 21 million of them, that's all. Just for me, it seems like such a clear bet. You also said something about price expectations. I mean, I have no idea where it's going tomorrow or where it will be at the end of the year. I'm guessing maybe 100,000, but I know for sure that this is going to be 200,000, then a million, then 2 million, finally 8 million per coin. That's what I'm saying because that's how networks naturally grow. That's why I'm pouting the table. People who do that think, wow, I'm shelling out too much. A very, very rich friend of mine knows that my average price is pretty low. You can't stand to pay $60 or $70,000. I told them, look, it doesn't matter. I doubt I paid less than a few $1,000s, but that's about how much it was. Max Kaiser paid $2 though. And I don't feel bad about Max. That is, I know that one day someone who is paying $2 million a coin will think my average price is very low. So, it's just Sailor's point. Well, Laura, it's going to keep going up, so you should either decide or buy it eventually. People don't understand that finally everyone will buy this. That's something I don't think anyone or very few people know. They will never be able to stop making it, so you might as well buy it now than wait and have to pay a lot more for it later. And this is going to be a Gresham's law kind of moment. And at that point, people will stop using dollars as money units. They'll be crazy about gold, silver, Bitcoin, and other things that can't be printed. Some people think it's too late to get into Bitcoin, to add an artist to it. That was so long ago. Now there are hundreds of trillions of dollars in assets around the world. I mean, the world's stock markets are thought to be worth $150 trillion. The world's bond markets are worth more than $100 trillion. I mean, just those. Don't bother with real estate or a lot of other things. It's worth $250 trillion. Of course, there's also cash and money. It's $250 trillion worth of assets. Right now, all the gold in the world is worth around $13 trillion. And Bitcoin is worth a lot of money. Think about it. For what reason does a part of that 250 say, God, I'm getting fried here. They're going to make so many new cash units that my existing ones will become very worthless. It's like adding water to beer. I have to leave this place and get some money that I know they can't change. That $250 is going to crash into gold and Bitcoin. So gold will cost $10,000 or $20,000 and Bitcoin will cost $1 million. That's what's taking place. Right now, not tomorrow. It always takes time because most people aren't aware of it yet. But it's clear that people who listen to this show are thinking for themselves and are, kind of ahead of the curve and know that something is wrong. There is a problem with the system, you know that. My kids know there's a problem, they're in their 20s, things are going well for them, but they can't afford a house. Really, I could only afford a small house when I was your age, but you can afford a condo. They can't, and that's because the processes are broken. Do we know what Bitcoin will become and how it will be used? I mean, no, we don't, but we do know that Bitcoin stops money from losing value. And that has been a huge problem for people for a very long time. So we just figured it out. Okay, then I'm going to bet on that. Over time, I think that free thinking people like you, me, and everyone else who has accepted Bitcoin will all look at it and come to the same conclusion. You know what? This gets rid of the problem of money basement. That sounds good to me. That works? Yes. Let's use that. I know that fiat is just crap and can be weakened. So why would I ever change the price of something in fiat? I'm not really going to get my money back. I'd like to be paid back in Bitcoin. So yeah, I think that's something that's hard for people to understand. But I believe that once you do, you can't go back. You could see that there were issues, but you could also see that technology would solve them. I believe the same thing is true for Bitcoin now. You should know that layer 2 is still not very good. A fast deal is something that not everyone knows how to set up. Self-custody is awkward and hard to do. There's a lot of scams. A lot of people are being ripped off. All of these issues are big and real, but they will all be fixed because that's what people and business owners do. And so, there will be always new breakthroughs. For example, when we switched from green screen to Windows on the internet, that was a huge step forward. After that, we switched from dial-up to internet. That was yet another huge step forward. Let's jump ahead 20, 30 or 40 years. I'm now talking to you in real time from the other side of the world. We had to buy very expensive gear to do video conferencing not long ago, maybe 10 or 15 years ago, and the quality was still terrible. What do you and I do this for? I have no idea. How much does your Zoom membership cost? $100 a year or something? It's the same, yes. It's the exact same model. And, I think Bitcoin will do for money what the internet did for sharing facts and talking to each other. It meant that the New York Times was no longer important.